How's it going this time, Shot?
Hopefully better than a few minutes ago. Let's see. Huh?
Yeah, we working. We working.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. I gotta tell you, I'm always I get excited to talk to you whenever there's an award show.
Oh, sure. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I got lots to say. First of all, I watched the Grammys. I watched the whole show.
Oh, rock on.
I watched the whole thing, which I mean isn't. I mean I usually do, but I mean this time I was like, when I can find, since I don't have normal television or even cable,
Yeah.
it's like, where is it? Did we figure out one of these streaming services is like, maybe we should put this on live? And yeah, Paramount Plus did. They did it.
You have Paramount Plus?
Oh, yeah. I got all of them except Disney, just about.
Yo,
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah, I do.
Real
I
talk, man.
think.
Yo,
I
it's
think.
good to hear your friends doing well, man. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
I mean, I don't want to flex, but yeah, the
Real
only
talk.
the only thing on Disney for me would be all the Muppet stuff, um,
Okay.
and and The Simpsons, and I
Okay.
already own DVD box sets of the first, I don't know, 13, 14 seasons of The Simpsons or some shit.
Okay. So you got like a
I,
quarter of it? Okay.
yeah, so I'm good. I mean, I got the good part of The Simpsons, so I
All
don't
right.
need, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, so I have Paramount Plus and I watched it on there and it was good. I feel like halfway through I was like, this has been a pretty good show. And I'm
Yeah.
very I I enjoy award shows even when people hate them.
Mhm.
Because that's part of the reason to enjoy them is like how bad they can be. But this overall, I thought went well and wasn't annoying, and I enjoyed what was happening.
Yeah.
But
It
then
was
even
like a mix of just the right amount of bad stuff
right,
to like, like keep like Twitter live and get some jokes, but there was legitimately, I thought, a well put together show.
yeah,
The writing was solid, the hosting was good, the I agreed with a lot of the awards,
right, yeah.
you know?
I thought to me the weakest part was Trevor Noah, and not that he was bad. He's very good at what he does. But it's walking on that tightrope of like walking amongst the celebrities
Right.
and maybe trying to engage with them. And it gives me the same feeling I get when I watch, freestyle rap. I can't do it. I'm on
Yeah.
record as just like I can't watch it. It stresses me out. So normally, I as soon as he came up for to do one of his little thingies, I just shut. I'm just like I'm not listening to him. Um, but for the most part, I enjoyed it. And then on Twitter, there were a lot of tweets that were like, "Am I going crazy, or is this actually a good show?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, no one's really complaining about anything." Um, I also enjoyed the performances and yeah, like okay, Sabrina Carpenter,
Mhm.
who was the espresso lady.
Yeah.
That's that me espresso. I have been on the fence with her because I'm like, she's there's something about her that kind of cracks me up a little bit, but I don't know if that's intentional or
Okay.
what. And there's just a way that she appeared to have her wits about her that I'm like, I think I'm resonating, or it's resonating with me. But then when I would hear her sing, I'm like, why does it just sound like it's someone just kind of on a mic? I'm like, can she actually sing? Because y'all are telling me she could sing. Now she's been on Broadway and she's got chops, but I
Right.
haven't heard a voice from her chest yet. Everything's been from her head,
Oh,
just like which is fine if she wants to sing like a big sexy baby. That's fine because that's what she's doing.
it works,
So
yeah.
it works, right? But then, so she did some silly shit. She did like an homage to Goldie Hawn, where she's doing a big Hollywood style version of her song, and she's walking downstairs as they have people do, and she disappears behind another flight of stairs that you think she's supposed to walk behind, but she actually goes behind it instead of down it. So
Okay.
she disappears and then she pops up and has to climb her way out of whatever it was that she walked down. it's simple, but it's very funny. And I wasn't expecting that. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, first of all, when she hit the stairs, the spotlight was on another part. So then she moved over and then the spotlight moved again. And I'm like, okay, we having Muppet fun with the spotlight. I'm
Hell,
into it. And then she
hell
did that
yeah.
stare gag, and I'm like, I'm all for her now. And then at the very end, she hit a note that came somewhere near her diaphragm. And I went, oh, okay, so she
She
can
could do it.
belt, she can do it. Great. And I'm like, great. So I'm on board. And luckily, just in time, because she won an award literally right after, which
Yeah.
is how the Grammys like to do. They like to make you perform and then they give you the award normally. And then you have to run back, from the back and, hi, I didn't know I'd do this. Yeah, you did. You literally had 100 people twirling underneath you and spinning you around. You had to have some sort of clue.
Real
But
talk.
then again,
Good sign.
yeah, but I mean, they also have had people do that and then not giving them anything because
You
Grammys
know,
are kind of petty that way.
I'm curious what the percentage is. Like, what's the likelihood of winning in general,
Hmm.
and then what's the likelihood of winning if you get asked to perform?
Uh, well, it used to be. I mean, there are some times where they're like, we want everyone to perform, like, say, record of the year or song of the year. We want all of those people to perform this,
Oh, right, right.
so that
So
everyone is at least familiar, like, okay. They
these are the
used
record nominees.
Yeah, they sometimes would do that. They didn't I think they've shied away from that now. I mean, they only give out before it didn't necessarily matter as much because they gave away so many of their awards on the award show. Now,
Right,
I think this year they gave out 9 awards on the that were aired, and they have
right.
like 70 something awards to give out. But they don't give out like they used to. I mean, you used to be able to see. I remember Grammys when I was like in high school, um, where they gave away best male country album and best female country album. You know how they
Right.
would break it down like that, which maybe they don't break it down like that as much as they used to, but they did. And that particular year, Lyle Lovett won best male country album,
Okay.
Lyle Lovett and his large band, and Katie Lang won for Absolute Torch and Twang for best female country album. And I was thrilled because I really like Lyle Lovett, and I will fight you over Katie Lang, especially her country days, her early country days. I will fight. You have something to say about my girl KD? We will fight. We will fight. Don't
Amen.
no one say nothing about Katie Lang to me. So I was thrilled. And I know my dad was just like, well, I can't believe that here is the day that my daughter is cheering over the 2 people who won country albums, Grammys.
Real talk.
But yeah, they used to do that, but they don't do that as much anymore. They also used to mix up like um artists of different genres to perform together to do like
Yeah.
weird little medleys of their songs all together. And that was always cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Um,
that growing up. I thought it was cool. It's the way
yeah,
I met people. Like, oh, like
right.
introduced, like, oh, okay, I didn't know about this genre of music or this artist. That's pretty cool. It would
Yeah.
lead to like a random like one-off artist. Like, it would always lead to like a rapper using a very non-traditional artist on the chorus the following year, which I
Yeah,
always
it's
enjoyed.
something like that. I remember one of like, oh, I feel like it was like Erica Badu and John Mayer and you know what I mean? Like just some mix and then like some jazz pianist and like, all right, here you go. You all do your songs all together or whatever, and you got to work that out. So they kind of started with something like that where they had a duo performing I Love LA by Randy Newman. And they're called Dawes,
Okay.
Dawes. And I want to say that it's Dawes because Trevor Noah kept saying doors because
Okay.
his accent is whatever it is. And so I was just like, not the Doors, but Doors. I've never heard of a band called Doors before. You say they've been at this for like 20 years. I'm not saying I know every band, but I feel like I would have come across Doors, just Doors.
Real talk.
And
That's a dope name.
yeah, and they show them, and then I'm like, No, these are 2 guys. These guys look like they know better than to call themselves Doors as opposed to the Doors. I'd expect that from like two very young people who don't know the history, but these guys are middle-aged dudes. They certainly know something. And
Right.
then when I read about it, I was like, "Oh, Dawes, man, learn how to talk." I
You know, that African accent's cute, but you messing up
Yeah,
now.
yeah, but come
Right?
on now. You've been here long enough. You know it's awe. You know we like to do awe, water. Come on, you know what it is. But they had a lot of people performing with them to do it. So they had like Brittany Howard, who used to be in what Alabama Shakes, who has a fantastic voice, but and also is a great guitar player. She's playing guitar. I think Saint Vincent was on it. John Legend, because John Legend is everywhere.
Real talk, I do never stop.
Never. If you say his name 3 times, he's already produced it. He already produced whatever it was you were thinking in your head.
Real talk.
Um,
Fun
but
fact, by
yeah,
the way, the Doors are a rock band. I didn't know this.
what, The Doors?
The Doors, it's a band from the '60s.
Oh my God, Gastor, you can't just drop that you don't have any idea who The Doors are like that's normal.
Real talk, I'm learning right with you, Sha.
No, I know who The Doors are.
I don't
That's
know it.
why I was like, why would a band call themselves just Doors when there's The Doors? I was like, that's going to be so confusing for them. But then when I saw it was Dawes, that made sense because I know of the extremely popular 60s rock band called The Doors that had
I don't know about either of those.
like a movie, a biopic made of them called The Doors by Oliver Stone. None of this rings a bell?
None of this at all.
You know
Real
what?
talk.
You know Doors songs, you just don't even know you know them.
That's the only reason. Like I googled it and like the Doors, the band comes up,
Mhm.
and then the second thing is the Who sampled page, and
Okay.
like okay, that'll help me out. And like they were sampled by Lauryn Hill for Superstar. That helps.
Okay.
You know what
Does
I
it?
mean?
Can you recall that song?
Yeah, isn't it's from her album, isn't it? The
Yeah, I guess. Aren't they all? she, she ain't got but the 2.
yeah, no, it's like it's one of the like the slower songs that she sampled.
Okay.
Yeah,
No.
it's like one
Do
of the
you
deeper.
know the song?
I don't know the Doors song that it samples, but
What
I know
song
the
does it say it samples?
that one it says where is this here? It samples Light My Fire.
Oh my God. You know Light My Fire. I swear to you, you've moved through this world. You've moved through enough of this world that you have heard either Light My Fire or you've heard well, you might not have heard Love Me 2 times. I'm thinking of the ones that I like. Uh
I don't know.
yeah, you've heard Light
Shot
My Fire.
until this award show,
Uh-huh.
I thought Sabrina Carpenter was uh what's the girl from Remember the Titans? She's like a little pint.
I don't know. Does she sing?
She sings, she played like a and Remember the Titans, she was like legitimately a kid. She was like a 10-year-old playing
It
a
could
daughter.
be it could be her.
Nah, it's too far back. In that because she played a country music singer on a TV show. And like Gabby was telling me, like, nah, it's a different chick. Like
Oh,
that
okay.
girl's like older. She's like a decade and a half older than that lady.
Oh, I
I
guess so, but you know, Sabrina Carpenter's, like, in her 30s, though, because she's like a
I'm
Disney girl or a Nickelodeon girl, so I'm like, "Oh, I actually don't know how old this bitch is."
oh,
Like,
look
I
at
think
that.
she's young because young people like her,
Maybe
but
I'm right.
the sensibility that I was getting from her was like, I don't know, she likes to do old shit. Oh, Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah, I thought that girl was
Oh,
Sabrina
okay.
the whole
You
time.
know what? That's not I wouldn't give you a hard time for that.
There you go. Doors,
Yeah.
doors. Sabrina Hayden. That's
What?
what's happening in my brain.
Okay, so yeah, there's a
All
lot
one.
going on in there. Anywho, um, I see the confusion. I'm gonna move along because I don't even we could get into the weeds with this for a long time.
That is the name of the album playing in my head. The Weeds. I like that right there. That's the mix.
uh, so what else? Oh, the best new artist um category was like stacked.
Yeah.
There were 8, I think, people nominated, and
Yeah, I don't know if there's a cap on the amount of people, right? Because I felt like there was a couple categories that like
uh,
the amount of people in it was substantial and all worthy.
I think there's not a cap anymore. I think there used to be a cap.
Mm,
Kinda like the Oscars. Remember how the Oscars was
right.
limited to 5 and then a few years ago, they're like, "All right, we'll bump it up to 10."
Right. If it's good, it's good. It is what it
Yeah.
is.
So I think that's what I think the Grammys maybe are the same way, because I can't remember there were a lot in this one, and I think it's notable to me because all of them I was just like, "Oh, wow, okay." But some of them, there's always someone nominated who is like, "Okay, but they've been doing stuff and putting out records for years, right?" And that's usually the case with many of them,
Mhm.
um, but they just had their breakout year,
Right.
but some acts are just like, "You gotta be kidding me." Like, this past year, Khruangbin was nominated,
Okay.
and that's, a mostly instrumental band, and they put out, well, I feel like their 3rd maybe major label album this
Oh,
last year, and they have been at it for, I don't know, at least in my brain, at least 10, 11 years.
yo, real talk. This is so I watched the Grammys specifically because of that, because it keeps my hope alive. Because
Yeah, yeah,
real
for
talk,
real.
you could be a new artist 20 years into the game.
Yep,
Real talk, like
yep,
if that's when they find you, that's when they find you.
yes.
And
So,
you got your diehards that know you, but
but there's also the best new artist curse that they've talked about, where
ooh,
someone has like a huge year, they win best new artist, and then like you don't hear from them again. Sometimes,
ooh, like
some
who?
exactly. I couldn't name any because they've disappeared. But there have been some people where they won, and I'm like, "Wow, really?" And I'm like, "Okay, good for them." But then I don't hear anything else. And usually, what happens is they just end up putting out albums for their very niche wherever it was, and they just had like a big year, that a big record that hit that year or
Right,
whatever, and then they go to wherever it is. So it's not that they necessarily just disappeared, as they're not doing anything that's filtering into the mainstream at all. Um, so there are some acts who have been nominated who I'm like, "Oh, I don't want you to win because you may get hit with the curse." So, like Krungbin, I didn't necessarily want them to win because I was worried about the curse, but also, child, they've been at it for so they'll be fine without it. Like, it was wild that they even got nominated. I was thrilled for them. They
yo,
let each act perform.
hell
Um,
yeah,
each act got to do a song, but Krungbin did theirs when they came back from a commercial break. No one introduced them. They just started playing, and people were still like milling about. And then they finished their song, and then Trevor Noah was like, "Hey, one more time for Krungbin, huh? Yeah. Anyway, here are all the rest of the not." And I was just like, "See, that's why I didn't want y'all to." Y'all didn't even include him. I was like, that was like an afterthought. I feel like that was someone's little brother's idea of who to, you know.
right.
Anywho,
By the
uh,
way, best new artist.
uh-huh.
23 women who after winning the award, 34 women have won the award. 23 of them went on to win again another Grammy. 11 did not. But
Mhm.
every other group does worse. 11 men have won best new artists. 5 of them won again another Grammy. 6 did not.
Yeah.
And faring the worst are groups
Mm.
where 18 groups have won best new artists. 6 of them won another Grammy. 12 did not.
See? It's a little
Yeah,
bit of a, yeah, it's
real
like
talk.
a
Yeah,
kind of
oh
thing
yeah,
if
like
you
you
get it.
gone.
Yeah.
And one footnote is one exception to the group thing is Hootie and the Blowfish, who never won again as a group, but Darius Rucker won again alone.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Boom.
Well, no, we all knew that was the end of the run of Hootie.
Real talk, yo. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
oh, the wacky days of Hootie. Ah, you had to be there, folks.
Real talk, yo. It was the era. Real
You
talk.
really had to be there. But okay, let's see. Oh, Doechii had a great showing at the
Yeah,
Grammys. She had a great performance
yo.
and wonderful outfits by Tom Brown. They were all everybody dancing was outfitted in these, you know, the kind of menswear suiting type of thing that Tom Brown with an E
Yeah,
does so well. So that was great. She took her mom up there, and this is
that was
how
beautiful.
I'm like, "Oh, right, right, right." She is kinda young, but also her mom is as well. Like,
Yeah, I thought the mom was the artist, like
you're
for a
right,
minute. I was like,
yeah, like, she had red braids and everything, and people were like, "That's her mom?" You're like, "Yeah,
real
no, they
talk.
got the exact same face." And her
Low
mother
key.
didn't have tape on, like, the eye lift tape that
Yeah.
Doechie's been wearing out, her mom didn't have it on, didn't need it. I was like, "Well, Doechie, you fucking your eyes up just by pulling it back. Just
Let it rock,
let
B.
it rock." But I know she's making a point. But,
Yeah.
yeah, like, so that was great to see her win. Also, which you may find interesting, I don't know, but Doechii dropped a song after the Grammys
Oh,
called
that's fire.
Nosebleeds, and basically, it's, the world, everyone wondered what would happen if Doechii didn't win. I guess we'll never, the old Kanye
Right,
thing.
right.
Like, it is literally just a song of her just being like, "Hey, Grammy." It's
I love that
ridiculous.
energy.
Yeah, no, it is your energy. I love it. I was like, "Oh, so this is what I have to listen to on my way to shows now." It's so great. It's so great.
I'm
And she
telling you, if
dropped
I
that shit like an hour or something, not even after the Grammys ended. And which
that's
means she
beautiful.
already had that shit. She was just
Locked
like,
in.
"Nah, I'm gonna win." And here's my it was fantastic. It's
Real
fantastic.
talk. And if I told y'all I win an Emmy or a Grammy, I'm going to Broadway Junction. Everybody can take pictures from the block. It's gonna be so wild.
Oh my gosh.
Real talk. I was hyped. Uh, there was like Grammys that like people I rock with
Mhm.
that like they didn't win, but they were going after things that I didn't know were a thing. Um, Mad Skills,
Okay.
one of my favorite underground rappers from Virginia, dope dude. He's most people know him for doing the wrap up at the end of the year.
Right.
And he's a real prolific ghostwriter and then made a song called Ghostwriter where he like leaves out all the names.
Uh-huh.
But he like got nominated for a poetry kind of thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is dope. Like you like expanding your horizons in your 50s. It was like a spoken word album.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
yeah, and like I didn't know of it until the noms came out. Where I was like, Mad Skills got nominated. Like I was surprised because like his like peak in terms of notorieties was like 15 years ago,
Right.
and like to see him like still like yo, I'm still making dope things, just different. I thought that was just really awesome to see that. Like, oh, this is cool.
Okay.
Oh
That
yeah,
is
yo.
cool. Um, well, the Grammys, they went through some changes, definitely, but they're also still the same Grammys. Like, for example, they all right. A few years ago, like maybe 5 years ago, when they announced the nominees for that year's Grammys, The Weeknd, I think, had put out an album and it wasn't nominated in any
Mm,
way, and he was upset, and he was
hell
like,
yeah.
because one thing that you'd notice is, though they always say it's artistic merit when it comes to, like, album of the year, sales counts a lot too.
Right,
So, so he did that album did well, and they
right.
still were like, "Nah." And so he's like, and it had like a theme, like there was a whole thing going on with that album and it did well. And they said, "Nah, we're not gonna nominate it." And so he was like, "Y'all are in some bullshit. You're just a bunch of old people. They're voting on stuff. You need to look at, you know, who you got in charge, who's actually voting. You need to look at who gets to look at your whole situation because your whole situation looking sus right now."
And to be
Anywho,
fair, like it's
mhm.
not just that he made a dope album. Like few artists commit to an idea like the
Like,
weekend committed.
he
My man,
commits to a bit.
real talk. Like he like y'all, I'm living this.
Yeah.
Like my man
No,
changed his face up.
I'm
Like
I am going to promote this album with a bloody bandage across my nose for the whole cycle. 2
yeah, like
months like this.
I ain't mad at homeboy for saying yo, y'all ain't notice me.
Yeah, like you didn't see anything at all.
Real talk.
Interesting, huh? Ask your kids, ask your grandkids.
My man,
Someone heard something. So he was just like, "So I'm gonna boycott the Grammys." So which means anything else that that he puts out, if they want to acknowledge it, he's just like, "I'm not going. I don't give a fuck. Fuck the Grammys," basically.
yeah,
And so that was him. It was fuck the Grammys all day, a day with the weekend. But that and like I think like women just being like, yeah, y'all are full of shit, because I feel like the guy who was in charge of the recording academy said some wild shit like, well, if women want to have their album, more women in the album of the year category, or whatever it is. He's like, I mean, make better stuff. Ultimately, something like that. I think it was some not like that blatant, but ultimately, like step
Yeah,
your game up. Like, no, buddy, you're not even looking for it. Like that kind of shit. And so they recruited younger um Academy members, a more diverse group of Academy members, and I guess they apologized to the weekend. So the
that's wow.
the president of the Recording Academy came out and said this whole thing of just like, yeah, we were caught short. So, we had to go through and really we was a come to Jesus moment. So we came to Jesus and then we went to the weekend. Anyway, here's the weekend. Like,
Yo, that's kind of fire though. Real talk. I
yeah.
respect owning that.
So I was like, wow, good for the Grammys. But don't worry, in the best rock song category,
Mhm.
they gave it to the Beatles.
Hey,
No, it
you
was
can't
not
have
the best.
you can't have all that growth at one shot.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. That's true. Like, yeah, it was just like, I guess, I don't know, someone found a track somewhere and whichever ones are alive kind of hummed on it and they were like, it's a new Beatles track. And I'm like, that's impossible. There's no such thing as a new Beatles track. And it won. And I was salty because this band Idols, who I have grown to love over the past couple of years, they were nominated. And I would have liked to have seen them win, but it didn't matter because they didn't give that away on the televised one anyway. Who cares about rock?
Especially, yeah. I mean, they kind of undid the genre by like saying the most popping record is by a group where half of the members are dead. Like
Right,
you know
yeah,
what I
like,
mean? Like you
yeah, I don't
shitting on
think
the
you
genre.
yeah, exactly. It's not like but there was a time where no matter what, U2 always won a Grammy, and I was like, I don't even think they did anything. How did they win a Grammy? They've been quiet for 2 years. How did they
Real
win it?
talk.
They're always winning Grammys, and then for a while, Coldplay seemed to be winning no matter what they did. And sure enough, dude from Coldplay was the one performing a song for all the montage of dead people. So I was like, okay, Coldplay's still in there,
Hell
but
yeah.
they still got Chris Martin's number. But yeah. So
I will say, Shot.
mhm,
Um, I had one beef. It's the same beef I've had for several years.
okay.
With the Grammys. The comedy album. I genuinely like get bothered by this on two fronts.
Mhm,
One, the nominees are always the same people,
right.
and the winner is always like one of two people, which is like this year with Chappelle. It's been Chappelle and like Louis C.K. basically like back and forth for like a decade.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Wait, what did Chappelle win
he
for?
won best comedy album.
When did he put out an album?
And that's my second beef. It's not they're not even putting out albums. They're just nominating the special that was on Netflix as an album, even though they're not even available as albums. Like it irks me. Like even on the technicality, if you want to say Chappelle put the best joint out just because he's famous, fine. But no, there's not a single Netflix special that you can
Right,
listen to as an audio project.
right,
They're video only. So just on a technicality, it's not an album.
right,
It's a
right. That's
special only.
true.
That's what irks me about it. Like, how is he winning best album without an album? For
Wow.
it's happened multiple times. Every time Netflix Chappelle has won, it's
Right.
never you can't play it. You can't play it on Spotify, Apple, Title, only Netflix. But he keeps winning. And that
Wow.
that that award, while it's not a comedy award, would mean a lot to a comedian. Like that changes your life.
Yeah, but I mean, they don't even so here's the thing. Here's what really stinks about it. If they were to take that out, if they were like, all right, no only specials, there must be an album release for it. There must be a way for me to hear it.
Right.
Then it's only going to be Jim Gaffigan from here till eternity. You know what I mean? That's all it's going to be. So there's
Yo,
there's already something in place. When you actually do release albums,
right.
you do get to be number one the day you release your album, usually, uh, because the album chart is so stagnant. It
Right.
is Jim Gaffigan out of 3 out of 10 of the spots.
Yeah, he
Weird
crushing
Al has a spot.
it.
Um,
The
usually,
music bumps. Mulaney,
yeah,
I see a lot up there.
Who?
Mulaney.
Yeah, Mulaney will probably have like 2.
Mhm.
Um, Dane Cook.
Yeah,
Dane Cook will have a couple. And,
and my
oh, I
taste
guess
things.
maybe Bo Burnham might have a little
Yeah,
something.
Bobby up there.
Yeah, but, like, that's what it is until it is your week, your day to put out your
Right.
record, and then you will shoot to number 1 for the day,
Real talk,
and
maybe an
then you
hour.
get a screenshot of it, and then you're good. And, that's just how that will be.
But
So,
this
if
is my
you
counter.
mm,
If that's the case, they shouldn't also be able to be nominated for Oscars.
they're not nominated for Oscars.
There's
Oh, the
no
specials? No, no,
yeah,
no.
the special. That's what I'm saying.
The
Like
specials?
the
Oh, no, it
special
wouldn't be
gets
Oscars,
nominated
it would be
Emmys.
Emmys,
I'm just saying that
probably.
like there's a visual award for the
Right,
special.
right,
And I'm not saying that it can't also be an audio project. There's a lot of comedians, myself, yourself, where like you'll put out a project that's audio that
right.
is also has a visual component.
Mhm.
And in that case, I'm cool with it because they're different things,
Right.
right? Like you could judge them like as an audio project, as a video project.
Sure.
I'm mad that he's getting an audio award
For no
for
audio.
no audio. It's
Right.
just a visual project. And in turn, he'll still win the Emmy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
he'll
he
also get that. And if you want to say it's deserving of that, that's dope. But man, like yo, like
I think they're lazy about that in general.
I agree.
Yeah, I think they're very lazy about it, and, I mean, one of those one of the, performers did a like, he did some bit with, I guess, where he had on a suit, and then Heidi Klum and Nikki Glaser got up and ripped the suit off of him, and then he went on stage. He had on something underneath. Sorry,
Okay.
I should bring that part up. He
Bro,
had on
yeah,
some
after this
bodysuit
award, you
underneath.
gotta say
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. And then he went up there, but the whole time, they're on the in these little tables, and he's kind of singing and moving over there, and I'm just like, "Is that Todd Glass? Why is Todd Glass at the Grammys?" And
Word.
then I saw next to him was Jim Gaffigan. I'm like, "Oh, that's the comics table." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, okay." And there's Nikki Glaser. Sure, okay, that makes sense. And then they do the bit, and I'm like, I mean, great, but it would have been nice to see if Todd Glass was gonna let him loose at the Grammys. That's a nightmare. But also very funny. That would be a
That'd be
very
fire.
funny
Yeah.
nightmare. But yeah, and I'm just like, well, I mean, I guess that's the time I'm gonna see Todd Glass at the Grammys. You know what I
That's
mean?
it.
That's
Real
like it.
talk.
Like they're just so because there are so many, but we're closer to the ground than they are. It's
Right.
the thing is, if you ask the average bear who their favorite comedians are,
Right.
now they're going to say, traditionally they've only said George Carlin and Richard Pryor.
Right.
Now they're going to say Dave Chappelle. Maybe if they remember Jim Gaffigan, he's one of the most popular comics in the country, in the world, and people are
Yeah.
still like the hot pocket guy. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Right.
Everyone's lazy about it. No one does. They're just like whoever's in my face. Oh, yeah, okay. Dave Chappelle's in my face. He's good. Chris
Yeah.
Rock is in my face. He's good. I guess Kevin Hart, although I guess he just does movies more. Like people even notice
Yeah.
that. That's it though. You got to be huge in order to get any sort of recognition. So no one's doing the research.
Yeah. Nah, I
No one,
feel you.
yeah, and
But it hurts here because I'm like, yo, like if you want like even on his end, like if you gonna compete, at least like check the box. Like
right.
put it on a streaming service for a week.
He doesn't I don't think he thinks of it as competing against his fellow comedians because they've tried to do comedy awards in America a number of times. I've
Yeah.
watched a few award shows that were like the American Comedy Awards or some shit, and that was grand opening, grand closing.
Real talk.
But Chappelle doesn't see it as like I'm going up against my fellow comics and blah blah blah. He sees it as another badge that what he's doing is right and that y'all were wrong to question him. Because that's always been his response is like, look, they
Right.
gave me another one. Y'all trying to cancel me, but they gave me another one. And it's like, uh, yeah, but that's because you're the only name they know now.
Yeah.
So but then I who knows really. Honestly, I don't even think about the Grammys for comedy because they gave an award to the Beatles. In the year of our Lord 2025, they gave an award to the Beatles.
Real talk, yo.
So I like the spectacle. If you get to win, that's cool. But if it's something that like you know what I mean? That's not the Grammys isn't a Grammy isn't necessarily something that comics are gunning for. And if they are, Chappelle is kind of in the way right now for him. I
Yeah,
don't
real
know if
talk.
he's gunning for a Grammy either, if he's just wanting to do his stuff and then you could just put his name on anything and it'll be fine. I do feel for Gaffigan. I hope Gaffigan has gotten a Grammy because that motherfucker puts out a record every year or
Yeah.
something, every year and a half. And if he hadn't gotten one, that's insane. Are you looking right now?
I'm checking right now. Jim
Yeah.
Gaffigan ever won a Grammy? Let's see here. He's been nominated mad years. So
That's what I'm
Jesus
saying.
Christ.
Like, give him a fucking something.
Wins 0.
That's a
Nominations 8.
wow. When we've been yelling
Yo.
about Beyonce this whole time, Jim Gaffigan out here getting cock blocked from every single
Real talk.
yo. Come on.
2025, 2023, 2021, 2020, 19, 18, 15,
Oh
13.
shit.
Jeez.
Yo, free
Real
my man Jim.
talk.
He is the Susan Lucci of the comedy Grammy category. We need to end this streak, y'all. Come on. That's wow. It's so nice to have a cause.
Oh man. Yo, real talk. He might be approaching a record right there,
I
yo.
think so.
That's wild work.
That's insane. I can't believe it. And look, now Beyonce got hers. Come on now.
Yeah, it's time for Jim.
It's time for Jim.
Jim, you got my vote. I don't have one, but you have it.
Yeah, right. I'm not in the academy, but we really think it is time for you to get something. You've been putting in work. We could either listen to it or watch it. You've given us a choice, but you've given us one of each. Like, you know, come on. You're selling out every place. Like, get at
Yeah.
it. Come
It's
on.
it's time. It's time, B. Real
It's
talk, man. Yeah, nah. But I enjoyed the awards overall.
Mhm.
I liked the little bit of spectacle of it too. We had like the little Kanye moment with him and his missus.
And that's not a Kanye moment. That's a call for help, which I
Real
guess right
talk.
now is the Kanye moment.
That is the
Uh
Kanye moment.
yeah, the less said about that the better. I hope that woman can get as free as possible. I want if that's yeah, I think she's been kidnapped or some shit. Like come
Yeah.
on.
That is
Who no one's wearing a see-through dress like a naked dress. She didn't want to do that. She didn't want to take that coat off. He had to talk her into it.
yeah,
That's a kept woman. That is uncomfortable.
that is awkward.
No, it's uncomfortable and it's wrong. Boo, Kanye. Boo, nigga. Boo.
Real talk, B.
Mhm.
I am fully convinced he's been like I can't even think it's the same dude at this point. I really think like aliens took over his body.
Nah, it's the same dude.
Oh,
You
he
know what?
gave us so much heat.
Yeah, but he's been obsessed with porn since he came out.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Be a
yeah, you
lady and
right.
listen to his shit. He's been
Yeah, you
obsessed with
right.
porn since he came out. Everything, yeah. It's been titties since he came out. And you know, at the time, plenty of people liked titties. So you can fit in there with like, hey, you like titties? I like titties. But then at some point, people gotta be like, damn, dude, you still talking about titties? And he's
Yeah,
like, yeah, you know they can get bigger. And it's like, oh no, that's what it is with him.
yeah, real talk, dude. Yeah, yo, real talk. Like Kanye is part of like my hugging problem. Like I like hugging people as a person,
Okay.
and Kanye is a dude that just keeps asking for hugs. Like I think he just like, ruined this thing.
Oh,
Titties are cool, but like that ain't the whole thing. Like
right.
there's other things in life. Like yeah,
Yeah,
like
and
a spectacular, yeah, sure, beautiful, but like
right.
that's not the center of like conversation.
Yeah, with him, it's himself one, and then titties two. I think is kind of how it breaks down. And then though number one being himself, there are a lot of subtitles under that. But yeah, like there's that was a real gross moment in an otherwise fine I guess show. Ooh, what about the I don't know if you saw this. All right, on the red carpet, they're talking to different performers coming through, legends, I dare say.
Mhm.
So, Babyface, songwriting legend, R&B legend,
Yeah.
Babyface, is doing an interview with the Associated Press, two young ladies. And as they are talking to him, one is, has asked him a question. He's answering the question. The other one, who might be like a little bit younger than the other lady, she sees Chapel Roan walking by, and she
Mhm.
literally just yells out, Chapel, Chapel, to get her attention to come over. And Babyface is like as Babyface is talking, she's yelling for Chapel across the way, and he's like, "Oh, did you want to go ahead, go on and talk to her?" And the
Yo.
first lady's like, "I'm sorry," and then he goes away, and then they pull Chapel over. That young lady, she apologized
As she
on
should.
and I think she lost that job. She done turned off she deleted all her socials. Girl is gone. But the whole even Khloe Kardashian was like, "How dare you treat Babyface that way?" And I was like, "Damn, you got Khloe mad about
Real
you
talk.
trying to like move up in the you
Yo, when it was
wow."
when I saw the clip, my first thought is I started looking at her ears
Hmm.
because my first instinct is like I mean I proved it earlier. I didn't know who the Doors were 5 minutes ago. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
I'm fully aware age, where you
Sure.
grew up plays a role in you not knowing. Maybe you just genuinely didn't know
Right.
the magnitude of Babyface. Your peer is clearly the one leading the questioning. But
Mhm.
like there's nobody in her ear saying, yo, shut up, Babyface is talking.
Right,
You know what
exactly.
I mean? Like, and so like I know one young lady I saw like had her hair fully pinned back. So like,
Right.
guy, maybe she ain't got an ear. One of y'all need an earpiece. Like if
Not
you
even that.
interviewing,
I think even if she didn't have an earpiece, or if she did, if she's trying to get chaperones and she's not the one he's talking to, that Babyface is talking to, I feel like she could have scooched out the way
yeah, let them handle that
and
combo.
tried to make her way over and said, "Hey, will you know what I mean?"
Right.
Instead of yelling. Actually try to move closer over there to get away from what's happening
Yo,
conversation wise. That probably would have been uncool, but it would have been cooler than yelling in his face,
yo,
yelling and pointing at Chapel Roan.
yo. And then poor Chapel Roan. Like,
Yeah,
no one even cared. You know what I mean? Like you ruined everybody's moment there. You got
everyone.
fired.
Yeah, no, yeah. And I who knows what they talked about with Chapel Roan, because everybody was like, "Ooh, no, she didn't." So no
Yeah.
one even saw. I haven't even seen the Chapel Roan
Yeah,
part
that's
of
what I'm
the
saying. Like
interview.
I haven't seen that interview. I don't even know if it happened. I just know like that's crazy work. Yo, like it and like yo, Babyface, like there like I'm assuming there is a me that like grew up in Nashville that's white that
Uh
only
huh.
knows country music, knows
Sure. Oh
nothing
yeah,
about Babyface.
there are plenty of you that
Uh,
grew up in New York, and
Real
only
talk.
know.
There's
Yeah.
some version of me out there from another culture that just doesn't know who Babyface is. And I get
Hmm.
that. But there's certain names that I think like just because of the age, you're going like, I've heard of that name.
Right.
I feel like Babyface is that. Like I don't know Dixie Chick songs, but I know the name.
Right.
You know
Yes.
what I mean? So like
Hmm.
if someone talking to the Dixie Chicks, just on some respect, I'm gonna be like, all right, yeah, that's a convo I gotta be quiet around.
Right. And
Mm-mm.
usually when they start these really quick interviews, they're always just like, Babyface, you've worked with so and so and so. Like they give like a very quick little bullet point of the people you've worked with and what you've done.
Yeah,
And then say, "How is it being here at the Grammys tonight?" Like that's how it always goes. So
that's
if you gotta listen to that to be like, "Damn, you work with Tony Braxton and Whitney Houston and Usher and you wrote this and yeah, yeah."
yo,
You gotta
yo. Though I will say I'm happy that like this should get Babyface new work. Not that he needs more. He's had a great career. But
right.
like I think this is gonna remind yo, word, low key, Babyface is shit.
Yeah, but the only people who need reminding are the general public. He
Yeah,
knows.
he knows.
He was one of the first to do one of the COVID verses.
Yo.
That was a hot mess. So, he was there before the technology was there, really.
Yo, we need. I want more Babyface. Real talk. Bring Babyface back, B. Yo, and low key, like he's living up to his name. He looks good for his age.
Yeah, yeah,
Shouts to Babyface.
yeah. He had a really good Tiny Desk recently,
Yeah.
like 2 years ago, maybe.
Yo, it's a
I
moment
know.
right there.
Yeah.
Babyface. Cowboy Carter won album of
Ye
the year.
Yep, hooray. I haven't listened to it. Have you?
Not at all. No,
No.
I still thought they were promoting it coming soon, and then it like that's how not connected to that I am.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Oh
Yeah,
God,
I this may surprise people, but if you know me, you know, ha I mean, I enjoy Beyoncé, but I'm not in the hive. I'm just like someone who enjoys her to a normal degree.
yeah,
And it's possible. There are people who can feel like, "Huh," about Beyoncé. It's not all, "I will follow her to the ends of the earth," or, "She's the worst."
right,
There's lots it's a spectrum, and I fall on the, like, when she's doing a thing that I need there's a thing that she supplies that I would need from her, and I
right.
don't necessarily get it in, like, slow songs of hers, and I don't I need, like, putting together outfits to go out for the night maybe, or
Okay,
walking with a little brisk something on a treadmill, but
right.
I don't necessarily need to hear her do country, I don't think.
All
I
right,
mean,
all right.
I'm glad she did,
Yeah,
and, because I know that's something that she has always dabbled with. I mean, she's from Texas, why wouldn't she? It
yeah,
makes all the sense in the world. She's from a upper middle class family in Houston. Yeah, she knows country.
yeah.
So,
Clearly,
I wouldn't doubt any of that, but, it's not necessarily what I reach for first from anyone.
mm-mm.
So, I'm sure I'll get to it, but right now I'm glad that that's it also makes all the sense in the world that it's the one that she won for,
Yeah, I
of
agree.
course.
She's
But,
due. It's very Training Day-ish. You
how
know what I
so?
mean? And like everybody was mad at Denzel playing a bad guy finally winning. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure,
She
yeah,
gets it for this instead of the genre like stuff that she's done that she's bodied as a genre.
right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think what she's done before, the older members of the academy. First off, she's so good at things that people think that she has more than she does.
Right.
Accolades, which I absolutely understand.
Yo, shot
Uh,
yo, real talk. Who would have thought that I would ever think, man, Beyonce and Jim Gaffigan got so much in common. You know what I
Yo,
mean?
it's right there. They're
Real talk.
everywhere and they're giving us good stuff and we just assume, "Oh, well everyone loves this, right?"
Yeah.
But there are people who are like, "They got enough. They don't need what do they need?" I mean, people have just said that. What do they need Grammys for? They already got No,
I'm
because you
sure they've
said
won.
that
Yeah.
the last time. So she's still not getting them, like that kind of thing. But for the voters, Academy voters who still need to feel connected in some way, like doing country is the closest that
Right.
they will be like, "Okay, I understand her now," because they didn't understand the dance record, the dance music, the house music. They were, "I don't understand this." And then they could have understood any of the R&B or R&B pop stuff that she was doing, but there
Right.
was probably something that caught their ear more than that. And they're like, we'll just give her best pop record or best R&B. She'll be happy with that. But I got to give Steely Dan, give me a
Right.
break. Anyway, this new album or best album of the year or whatever, we got to give it to Beck, that
Yo.
kind of thing. So, yeah.
And here now, I'll tell you, I gave y'all one of my complaints.
Uh-oh.
I had one huge complaint.
Oh.
I'm a big fan, but we got to stop the nonsense as a society. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Andre 3000 being nominated for album of the year. None of y'all played that shit. None of y'all know what that sound like, but Andre. The lies y'all told to tell me that that's an album of the year nominee. I'm sure to the flute genre world, that shit is fire.
No, they were mad too.
They mad too, in my opinion, because they know
Yeah,
they got some flute bangers out there. And this dude, brand new flute, like real talk. I think the flute players, they're like, yo,
yeah,
this shit's like rookie shit. It's open
yeah,
mic.
no, they absolutely are. Yes,
Yeah. And
you're
this dude got
absolutely yeah.
nominated for album of the year. yo, y'all, and again, this it ticks me off because he's had shit that
Right.
should have been for this.
Right.
He's done incredible work. Not
Mhm.
him learning how to play flute. This should not have been on there. Like that shit blew my. I saw the yo, and like if you go on their website, it's the second album they list on the nominee list. I'm like, this is crazy. How is this popping like that? None of
It's
y'all played this.
No, but that's when there's some jazz album or some new, I don't know how much age music has made it to like album of the year listing. But yeah, but it's got the whole thing of like, oh yeah, no, Andre, we gave Outcast an album of the year record. And that was one of two rap acts to win at the time. Has there been a third one to win? I'm not sure. Anywho, look, so we know who he is, but now he's doing something else. Let's just go ahead and throw him a nominee.
Yo,
Yeah, he wasn't going to win that. There's no, because like you said, no one has listened to. I don't think, and I let it play a lot when I was trying to relax, and then I went to sleep.
real
So,
talk.
and I went to see him live, and he's like, well, we improvise all of our performances, so they're not going to sound like the record. And I was like, who's going to fucking know? I'm going to fall asleep right here. That's what I played you for, to chill.
Yeah. That,
Oh
that shit
boy.
had me tight. I was like, who the fuck?
No one's gonna, yeah, I wasn't worried about that one at all. I forgot it was nominated until they said it, and I was like, oh right.
I was tight it was nominated. I'm like, that means the idea got co-signed.
Oh
Like
yeah, no,
somebody
plenty of
said, yeah,
people.
yo, this should be nominated. Word.
No, I mean, it's sure. No, I see why. I see why.
Nah,
I couldn't see it winning at all, but I could see why it would be nominated, just to show like, hey, we're hip, we're with it.
nah, B.
We'll throw something to Andre Three Stacks. Is that how you call him? Um, and we'll give him a little nod for trying something that's not rap, and just to show that we are aware of what's going on.
Somewhere.
But it's the same. That's like Krungbin being nominated for Best New Artist on their third major label album. Come on, man. Come on. What are you talking about?
Oh my god, it hurt. It hurt. B. Real talk, man. I yeah, there's certain award like Grammys, Emmys, and Oscars. Like I still had the hubris of thinking I might like get nominated one day.
Oh, okay.
So
Sure.
like some of these like really irk me because it's like, yo, I don't know what I got to do, but apparently like I got to make something good and then get nominated for the bad thing I make after. Like I'm
No, you have to become a student of the awards to
yeah,
understand that is what, like, think of directors who have won. Like, did Martin Scorsese finally win an Oscar
right,
recently? All the work he's done, and what did he win it for?
right. Nah, I get you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Al Pacino maybe won an Oscar for Scent of a Woman. Are you serious? What? Got him an Oscar? Stop. So going in that it's not gonna be for what you did that year, it's gonna be for all the times they fucked up previously.
Right. Now you right.
So,
You right. I'm
yeah.
holding it. I'm holding it too close still.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta know how these academies move and how they vote in other ways, but, like, when you actually will get your turn. I mean, look, Leonardo DiCaprio didn't get an Oscar until the one where he wrestles a bear.
Okay.
And you know how many times he's been nominated? And you see what he had to do? He had to cut open a bear and sleep in it. I think they had a real bear. So,
Oh man, yo, real talk, y'all. I hope he kept like that bear. What they
so,
call that shit where they like
I taxidermy.
yeah, yo, you gotta taxidermy that bear. Keep him around, B.
So that is, you got to know that's what it is. There are plenty of shows that were great, that like TV shows that haven't gotten Emmys. I don't think I don't think Bob Odenkirk won for Better
Mm.
Call Saul or just that character in general because he kept going up against you know who's just various other actors that just kind of kept him from being able to win an Emmy for a character that people seem to love or a
Nah, I feel
show
you.
that people seem to love. John Hamm only got one Emmy, maybe.
Yeah, John got jerked on those.
Yeah, for Mad Men, I think it was like the last season or something like that, where it's like, "Oh, you getting ready to go? Hold on. I think we got something for you in the back."
Yo, real talk, yo. If you would like to live in a reality where Gastor and Shalewa would get their Grammys to go, real talk, gift bag, but they still count. They're gonna make a new category for us, okay? Semi listen to podcast based out of Brooklyn. Grammy goes to.
Man, that category would be chock full of nominees.
Real talk. We went up against 4,000 other comedians.
We're friends with 3,000 of them.
Real talk. We won with a landslide. We got 4 votes.
Right? Only because you got your wife to vote and I got my
Hell yeah.
sister to vote. And that's the only reason we won.
Real talk. It was Gastor, Shalewa, my wife, and Lucinda. Real talk. Oh man, Scratch voted for someone else. She don't rock with me like that.
Right. Oh, honestly, Lucinda would absolutely vote for somebody else. She's like, I hear it on your end. I'm sure it's not funny.
Shit, that guy's funny? Nah, I mean,
Nah,
you guys are talking
no.
serious. All you gotta do is like, subscribe to the show, baby. If you're an Apple or Spotify listener, we appreciate your ratings. 4 stars, you don't see the genius, okay? We're gonna help them expand their audience, okay? You know what I mean? They got millions of people's watching. We got thousands of people kind of listening.
The kind of listening. Come
You know what I
on.
mean? They need that. You know what I mean? 5 stars, they see the business value. So do you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If you have any articles you want us to cover, please DM us directly on Twitter or Instagram at Silky Jumbo or at Gastor Almonte. We technically got to none of them this week, but we still appreciate
Yeah,
y'all.
keep sending them. It works if you work it. Just send
Real
them
talk.
to us.
You know what I mean? We usually get to y'all. But shout outs to the homies, Iron Fist Mom and Allende EB. Always appreciate y'all.
It's
But
just you know how it is. It's a Grammys weekend. You know I was gonna have too much to say about it.
hell, it happens. You know
I
what I mean?
mean, what isn't next week like the Super Bowl?
Yeah, this weekend actually.
Okay, so
This
then
Sunday.
that
Next week.
means next week is going to be me yapping too much about my like the what maybe the 5th annual Shalewa talks too much about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and it's gonna be Kendrick. You
Right?
know what I mean?
Oh boy. So, there's going to be a lot to cover.
Oh man. With all that said, I am the hopefully future nominated Gastor Almonte. With the should be writing for these shows. Shalewa Sharpe. Hire her, Trevor. Hire her, Trevor. Hire her, Trevor. Real talk. This has been a one topic episode of the War Report. Catch y'all next time. Peace.